ban for game 3. To our awesome production team, I say, throw us to pick ban. Game 3 has apparently just started, so we're going to try and push through this as quickly as possible. Tristana back into the Rift for RNG, a big Gala pick, especially over MSI, Lyric.
The big thing that jumps in my mind is, you know, I'm just so, like, kind of interested, is we have Akali and LeBlanc on the same team. Yep. Something we don't get all too often, right? So, setting up double assassin, 1-3-1, very strong. We look at the side of top esports. They're just keeping it going. We get the Diana once again. We get the Nocturne coming out. The Sett is back. We have a much more defensive bot lane coming in for the side of top esports as we get right into the game. We are caught up to live, 2 minutes, 27 seconds.
Everyone loves live. So, ladies and gentlemen, here you go. Thank you for hanging with us as always. Again, we're going to make sure we show the games in full. Otherwise, on the English broadcast, what would you watch? Absolutely nothing. Welcome to live and welcome to Top Esports RNG versus game number 3. Lyric, LeBlanc, Tristana, Akali, you know, especially the solo lanes, volatile for RNG, creates a different tempo base, and Knight on Nocturne. I mean, if VODS is going to get excited over everyone, definitely going to be this mid laner. As Xiaohu in a bit of trouble here, tries to shuriken flip back. It's good timing for us to join into live as QingTian nails him down. There's not enough damage to kill Xiaohu's Akali, and already Karsa putting pressure on the game 1 representative as RNG, a diving bot. There's the explosive charge. JackeyLove jumped on. Gala literally Goomba stomps him down for first blood.
And RNG able to find the kills on the bottom half of the map while Xiaohu outplaying that gank on top side. So far, both sides of the map going well. Both junglers going to be able to pick off Scuttle Crabs off of that one, but still, for RNG feels nice. And, you know, we don't actually think of Xiaohu as much of an Akali player. He's only played it 12 times in his career, and Xiaohu's been playing for a very long time. So, you know, that isn't all that much. Still showing up very well with those Akali mechanics. And Cryin on the LeBlanc, this actually was one of the champions that he would bring out sometimes on E-Star. When you think back to that early game E-Star pressure, right? All about Cryin and Wei making their way down towards bottom side. We would see Cryin able to play this as we go right into the replay. Instant rocket jump into Ming flashing for the passive hit as well. Gets the reset for Gala, goes back in. Both Wei and Gala taken quite low. But in the end, they pick up the kill and they're able to get away unscathed.
I think, Lyric, while we've had, you know, a bit of a run into this game, we haven't had a break. I just want to take us back before things do get a little bit hectic and run through a bit of the conditions again, if that's okay, because I see Nocturne let through, which is never done in the LPL. LEC gets Nocturne through all the time. Teams are willing to risk it, but LPL teams will ban it 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10. So I want you to walk me through what Top Esports are trying to achieve with this pick in mind.
So we've actually seen our Nocturne prio start to drop a little bit in the recent week, and we've seen like certain teams still gravitate towards it and you ban it against those certain teams, but it's not necessarily every game now. But I do find it a bit interesting what Top Esports have put together, right? Because you have this like half core that wants to dive into RNG, but then you have JackeyLove and Zhuo who just want to be like sitting safely in the back. So I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect there, as Knight will be able to have a lot of impact on the map. He does push in LeBlanc in this matchup early on, as we do see, will win out in trades, has that spell shield to try to outplay the chains coming out from Cryin. So for TS, you have some good prios to play around. We see QingTian as a prio in top side as well pretty much this whole time, to where RNG's comp is the one that's a lot more brawly, right? It's the one that wants to be diving in, wants to be playing off numerous angles. I think can especially play well off of like lack of vision and fog of war with the amount of mobility it has. Like, if you can like control vision over a wall, Tristana, LeBlanc, Akali, Volibear, like all of these champions have like decent ability to traverse terrain and find picks.
It's also a comp that I look at RNG and say, if the snowball gets rolling, like Akali, LeBlanc, 2 champions that are really hard to deal with when they do play through those angles. And someone like JackeyLove, even with the Tahm Kench, it's very hard to react, because if Zhuo eats him up, well then Zhuo's the next target. If, you know, QingTian's even caught out still, with snowballing assassins, it's pretty crazy to think of. So I think for RNG, putting onus on the solo laners, Lyric, you know, something you and I talked about in Game 1, Game 2. The solo lanes of RNG have done well this series, and now time to sit on one of them. Wei's ganking topside. Xiaohu's bought time. Great ulti out, but will he survive? QingTian at the ready, the flash away. Xiaohu plays it so slick, and now the Bears running against the hairy man. All you need is a couple more autos. Face breaker in. Wait! Sett time, Sky Splitter time, QingTian as well running for his life, and he lives, Lyric. Sett is actually too good to be true.
we have now had a 1v2 2 games in a row. Sure, he didn't pick up the kills, but it feels like he had no right to be alive there. Way sadly not having flash from an earlier exchange. He would have been able to flash on that kill much earlier to find it. TES gonna be able to answer on the bottom side of the map. So now we've seen twice where a team would win out on both sides, right? QingTian doesn't die to that gank. They're able to get Dragon. RNG with the previous exchange with the kill on bot. So, you know, this series definitely not letting up in terms of hype. We are gonna have Rift Herald up in 1 minute. And look at top side. Way's making his way back up there.
How angry would you be? All right, round 2. Let's see how we go. QingTian doesn't have flash, doesn't have the showstopper either. Shuriken flip and a full HP bar. Haymaker's at the ready. Facebreaker again. No.
Oh, he gets
it. He gets it. And Way's taking so much damage. I don't think you need the TP. 1v2. Come at me.
QingTian, a rookie support coming into LPL. We were talking up Xiaohu in those first games, and he comes to play on this set. Honestly, been one of the players on top esports we are most critical of. Gets ganked twice in the span of 60 seconds and outplays it both times.
Dude, the fact that it happens a second time around, and apologies to anyone whose ears are absolutely shattered, but dude, when you do it not once but twice, you deserve the respect. And 369 sitting on the bench going, God damn it, why does this keep happening to me? 2-0 Lyric, Iron Spike Whip, and we'll look at the second time around for the play on the half HP Sett.
Yeah, hits him with the passive straight into the E. Second E is where most of Akali's damage comes from now. Nice face breaker coming out from him, and then, I mean, just the Haymaker is absolutely perfect. This is where I'm a bit surprised that he's able to pull this one off. Does have the Triumph, so did get a bit of that heal, and then, I mean, we know the damage coming out from, you know, both Conqueror and then, like, from his passive, so just seems like QingTian able to take that 1v2. I think that Haymaker hitting was the godsend, right? You're able to take out Xiaohu, then you just have that straight up 1v1. Way's already used his full combo. Sky Splitter's down. Sure, you're waiting like, I think it's like 6 seconds for your next W to come up. A bit surprising that wasn't enough, but in the end, QingTian an absolute monster this game.
And that's a rough start for RNG. Way's committed so many resources up top, while Karsa picked up the Dragon on the first play and was able to go back and farm and now push himself to a pretty good lead. He's on top of the Herald right now for top esports. Full priority with the Nocturne ulti, with QingTian being an absolute unit. There's a lot of issues for RNG to start dealing with, Lyric, and they're going to try and see if they can defend this.
Yeah, they're going to try. We do see that RNG, actually both teams having 4 members here, but RNG not feeling comfortable looking for the engage.
Paranoia onto the back line, that's the way, but here we go again. The Moonfall, gorgeous from Karsa. Cleans up 2 kills, top esports, 4 versus 2 if RNG want to go back in, but they don't. They know the fight's done and dusted, and the Herald picked up.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk through mid. Doesn't look like Karsa wants to drop it just yet. And I mean, now Top Esports looking incredibly good, right? Only a 1K gold lead, so it's not over yet. JackeyLove has just been farming down in the bottom lane this whole time. So at some point, we're going to have to be very conscious of this Jinx, especially with 3 squishy targets to potentially get resets off of. The problem is that there's going to be a lot of threat on him. But still, I mean, Knight, Karsa, QingTian, maybe it doesn't even matter if JackeyLove goes down, right? We're seeing what they're able to do in these situations without him. So JackeyLove so far just chilling. Knight, Karsa, and QingTian getting ahead for RNG. You're pretty much praying to Gala at this point, but I don't think you're going to feel incredibly good as a Tristana jumping into a Sett, a Diana, you know, paranoia going on, the lights going out, the whole shebang.
I think importantly, we need to see if RNG can maneuver something in, not the solo lanes itself, Lyric, but angle for a pick, angle for a bottom lane dive. You talked about putting it onto Gala. Maybe just getting something, you know, for this AD carry, but importantly, Cryin being a part of it. You know, diving with the LeBlanc, not too hard of a feat, especially with the Nautilus Tristana, a lot of burst damage there. So we'll see if RNG can angle it back, because remember, it is only a 1K gold. This game's not done and dusted, but bro, my voice is done. So take it away, Lyric. What do you want to talk about next?
Well, Oh, actually, he walked away, so I can't. He actually physically walked away from his mic. As we see top esports gonna control vision down bottom side. You don't really have any plates down on your bottom lane turret though, so I'm not quite sure if you would actually want to look for this play. Paranoia not quite up yet. Maybe if Knight can get that one right, you have push in mid lane. You can look for a play like this to try to punish Gala and get some of your gold onto the Jinx, and that's like what it seems top esports are setting up for.
Karsa just waiting over the wall. But look at that ward. That's a really intelligent ward by RNG. Towards the edge of blue side jungle, you can see it on the top of your screen. They know Karsa's here. It's given time for Wei to walk down, so top esports need to get out of here. The Volibear almost has a Stormbringer available, and even though he's outweighed by a Mythic right now, Phage, Sheen, close to the Divine Thunderer, and still has the base stats provided by the items. So top esports back off, Dragon fake started, and Karsa now just waiting in Tribrush for something to happen.
Yeah, we do see that Cryin move first, but we can't be deceived by that, right? Knight does have the Paranoia, so he can get to a fight just as fast, and that was actually RNG being the one to bait this out, and we get a brush play.
And Zhuo's walking into it. Dredge line immediately. JackeyLove, depth charge onto the back. Zhuo will buy time, but JackeyLove the next target. Stormbringer down as well. RNG trying to bring the game back, but Paranoia, who turned out the lights while into the back line. Karsa does it again, but look, Cryin bursting him down over the wall while the face breaker from QingTian. The next target to watch is this Sett who flies forward on top of Gala. QingTian's giving it all to JackeyLove this time around, as Xiaohu doesn't want to deal with him. Top esports 7-3.
And I really like how JackeyLove held onto his flash. Didn't flash out when RNG initially engaged.
Here we go.
And,
1v2 again.
Oh, QingTian?
Let's not.
Oh, he's fine. He's between his own turrets. For a second, I thought maybe he was in RNG territory.
I was worried about RNG there, bro. Don't worry.
Yeah, right. It's one of the call the ambulance, but not for me moments, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to get a replay right here. The brush play comes out. They find their way into JackeyLove. And again, notice JackeyLove doesn't instantly go for a flash here. Despite the engage coming out from the Volibear, he does hold on to it. Really nice ultimate coming out from QingTian as well. And they're just buying so much space for JackeyLove to where when Xiaohu does get onto the back line, he is able to flash away. Cryin putting out damage on the other side of the wall, but already using his combo. As you know, we aren't going to finish off with the replay. We are going to see top esports dropping down the Rift Herald in mid, and the gold lead growing up to 2K. But oh, Xiaohu.
Yes, there we go. Lyric, I just want to see some competitive League of Legends and QingTian. If you're Xiaohu, you're thinking, dude, finally, that's gotta feel good.
I mean, we got to remember as well, right? Akali viewed as a very decent matchup into Sett by most pros because you have so many ways of outplaying most of his damage, most of his like lockdown, right? Between your E, your W ultimate, like you can get away from face breaker, you can dodge the haymaker damage, and then you can weave in and out with your passives and your 5-point strikes to put down the damage onto QingTian. We didn't see how QingTian got so low, but Xiaohu making sure he doesn't fall too far behind in terms of these solo kills. Heck, actually now both top laners sitting at 2 and 1.
Oh.
And yeah, Xiaohu getting a bit of a redemption arc within this one game.
I know he didn't get any solo kills last game, Lyric. It was team fighting for Xiaohu that was pretty big on his Lee Sin. But game 1, we know his solo killing was to the top there. Yeah, it's another one here after. This was kind of unexpected considering that QingTian was beating him down.
Yeah, and like right there, right? Able to dodge a good amount of the haymaker damage coming out, and then you're just weaving in and out, being able to proc your passive consistently. That is where Akali is able to thrive. And now Xiaohu, very close to being able to get his Riftmaker, did also pick up that early Seeker's arm guard, right? So has been sitting on a decent amount of armor for a while now at approximately 90. And top esports do have the fallback of Dragons already sitting on 2 right now, but it feels like the next thing we need to keep our eye on is definitely going to be the Rift Herald. RNG potentially going to try to get this bottom lane turret before it comes up, so that might open a window for TS to look for this.
God, top lane is just an avenue for delight, isn't it? Xiaohu going to be walking back in. Remember that he has himself the Leeching Lair, so a bit of AP, or at least scaling here. Xiaohu has to get out, but nice from Karsa once again. Knight comes in, doesn't get an assist. He TP'd for that. While RNG even losing in the mid lane. That ulti almost killed Wei. If he didn't Stormbringer, he was dead. And JackeyLove, the 3-in-1
Look
Jinx.
Look at Gala and Ming.
They're trying to get something
They're
as well.
They're still going.
I mean, they will get this turret, Lyric, because they need something. RNG are falling apart in the solo lane.
I think top esports might be able to get mid turret though. If, we look how it's going. Cryin already extremely low, half HP. TS going to bring this TP here with QingTian.
Oh, wow.
So not able to get it, but able to get a decent amount of damage on it.
I mean, JackeyLove has the Gore Drinker. He's got his Cloak of Agility lyric. You can say the same for Gala, but JackeyLove is a Jinx who's got a Tahm Kench beside him. So much safety as Knight pushes up the top lane turret and takes that as well. Top Esports, 2,400 gold ahead just about. JackeyLove making sure that nothing's going to be given over to RNG in this mid lane. A good start here for TES, and they've got 2 dragons under their belt as well.
And we've only seen one scrap so far, right? It was that one in bot lane Tri-Brush. But one thing I really liked that we learned from that was that at least TS seemed aware that, sure, they might have a bunch of dive tools, but part of their goal is also to make sure that JackeyLove's untouched, right? We saw that when QingTian went for that showstopper to try to keep members away. And sure, you're creating a lot of chaos in enemy backline, but you're still doing it, making sure, hey, JackeyLove's safe right behind us. Zhuo can, you know, keep them all good. And now, right, getting pretty massive on this Jinx. As Wei and Cryin looking to team up. Okay. We've seen this story a few times before, not with Cryin, but
yeah,
I still don't necessarily feel too good about it.
Is it successful this time around? A quick fix before this happens. It is a Kraken Slayer, not a Gore Drinker on the Jinx. I apologize for my misspeaking. Apparently I get those two confused. QingTian gonna get stunned up here. There's the Haymaker on top of Cryin. Distortion away. Wei actually stopped his back, but doesn't go for the play.
Look at TS's team.
They're diving this hard on. I mean, as Cryin, you think, where do I go? Paranoia, he wants to jump back to his clone. QingTian expected it, but Knight's on the other angle anyway. Thank you to the Herald. That'll get the charge, and Shelly will continue onward.
And sure, RNG's answering in 2 waves, but like you said, Rift Herald's down in bottom lane. That's definitely going to be another charge. Should be another turret over to the side of TS. And TS didn't even expend too much if they wanted to look for a fight right now.
Oh, he's taking too many turret shots. Stormberry used that flash away way too far forward. Gala is the source of damage here in the fight. Remember, Kraken Slayer's there. Karsa on the back line, though. Ready for the moonfall. Gets Wei, gets Ming. Down they will go. Wei against the world. And the world always wins. It's JackeyLove on the chase. It's Gala stunned up, slowed down, zapped through.
And look at QingTian.
And he's punching the turret, man. Top Esports are on forward momentum if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, Top Esports having one of the better showings we've seen. And the funny thing is, like, it's been very scrappy. It's been very Top Esports. It hasn't been like them trying to do this RNG style where you see RNG trading all around the map and so on and so forth. TS are finding gold advantages through getting kills. They are setting up dives, setting up a lot of these plays. And it's working for them. Next Dragon's coming up in 4 seconds. Certain members of TS are recalling, so I don't know how comfortable I feel about JackeyLove doing this one, but doesn't look like RNG are even going to think about contesting. And you look at their bottom side jungle, right? It is littered with wards, so JackeyLove does seem completely fine. And 6K gold lead in the hands of a team like Top Esports. You gotta be feeling it like it's pretty good for them right now. Gotta be feeling like it's coming close to the end for RNG as we see here. Top Esports do go in, right? RNG overstayed trying to make that trade in the mid lane. Knight gonna find his way in with that fear tether. Karsa once again, really nice ultimate coming out. And by the time Xiaohu's TP comes in, all of his friends are dead. He's not able to do anything.
Hate when your friends are dead. All right, Gala down as well. Lyric, bounty, bounty, bounty. That's what I see on my screen from Top Esports. 2-item Jinx here on JackeyLove as well. I think JackeyLove's had a pretty decent series. I think the bottom lane of Top Esports has been stable enough, right? We've seen... I don't even think there's someone to... It's not like the last series, right, where I had a bit of a upset time on to Bew. People know I was a bit rude to Bew. This series, I don't really feel like we're throwing anyone under the bus here. We've seen individual outplays come through in all 3 of our games. But we're seeing Top Esports own the map right now, always making the forward momentum play. And you can see here, QingTian back to the bottom lane. Knight up to the top side with Paranoia, while the rest of his team group up with that global or semi-global ulti from Zhuo. There are so many tools to use, so make sure that Top Esports are never alone.
That's the thing, right? Top Esports have a very easy time of closing the distance to find picks. A bit confused what Wei was thinking right there. Kind of maybe hoping he could stop it, but of course, all the members of Top Esports are there. Is JackeyLove actually putting a good amount of pain onto Wei. Xiaohu going to try and buy time here, but he's got to be careful.
JackeyLove only runs forward, by the way. That's just what that play taught me. Skysplitter, he doesn't care. He'll zap forward and help the minion wave push this turret. In a turret at the works here while QingTian has cleared up the bottom wave. That'll be crashing into the inhibitor. And even look at mid. Looks like it will be cleared out by Knight as well. So all lanes under pressure. And it's just mad on your screen for RNG that they're hoping can keep picking up this farm, get all the resources that RNG want. And Lyric as, okay, we've got Ming with 4,000 assists, so congratulations. Maybe not the game to end it on, I would say, here for RNG, because they're getting absolutely wiped in the meantime. But I want to come back. Gala's on 2 items, and they're hoping he can pick up some more.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm actually a bit surprised that we didn't see Top Esports go for any kind of Baron of, you know, put QingTian down towards the bottom side. Just try to pull out Cryine's TP, like truly do one of those Baron bait situations where it's only for the TP back off and go for a similar situation. You actually even have decent turn potential. Again, it's not like the same as having a Nautilus or Leona itself, but Knight able to jump in, QingTian maybe to find a good angle with his TP from the wards that you did have down before. But instead, TS wanting to take this one a bit slower. Looks like they're just going to set up around the bottom side and just try to get that Cloud Soul and then start transitioning over maybe to, you know, fights around Baron Pit or trying to actually push into RNG's base.
Let's just remember that RNG in Game 2, they said, forget the Cloud Soul. We're willing to risk it all for this Baron, and that was the Baron fight we saw. That gave us a hell of a lot of entertainment, so curious to see what the decision-making is in this game number 3, considering that they have a LeBlanc and Akali, not too much damage, apart from Gala, who's going to be able to burst it down. So, again, we'll watch RNG coming close towards his soul in a minute 40's time.
Yeah, right now, Top Esports is doing a good job of making sure that side waves are controlled. They're also keeping wards down in RNG's bottom side jungle, so if we do transition back to a play for Dragon, they will know. But I like to highlight RNG is keeping a lot of their focus up towards top side right now, making sure no shenanigans are going on. Maybe potentially can always threaten one of those situations, despite the fact that their DPS isn't the highest. Sure, they do the Tristana, but the other 3 members don't signal too much.
He's a bazooka all the way to the back line. Gala gets tagged up, but Paranoia's down, flash over the wall as well. Cryin on the flank as Karsa goes in. Cryin now spotted out that LeBlanc needs to do something because Karsa's already sent them forward and QingTian's flashed over the wall. This man's scarier than Godzilla. He gets hit with a shuriken flip, but Xiaohu doesn't want to go back in, while Cryine's on the run as well from a Jinx Tahm Kench. Top Esports can do no wrong against Royal Never Give Up.
And I feel like this should be the end for Top Esports, right? You have 3 members down, you have an inhibitor open in bot side. Looks like they maybe just want to push for mid with the fact that Ming is coming up in about 3 seconds. So, okay, getting a bit ahead of myself. I feel like we see, you know, ends in LPL quite often. But, you know, the most surprising part of that play was QingTian held onto the showstopper the whole time. It seems like he was waiting for a good place to use it onto Gala. You know, he flashed over that wall, was hoping to get it, but once he got shot away with the Buster Shot, never able to connect with anyone. So a good amount of patience on that man. Still, Top Esports able to clean up that team fight. We're going to see it starting off with RNG just threatening and Knight being the one to jump in. With QingTian coming around the corner, though, Knight, and I mean, Karsa feeling good about flashing over the wall, uses the Moonfall, takes out Ming immediately, and this is where the members just keep going forward.
Here we go again.
Oh, we're getting another fight.
Paranoid in the back line. It's RNG able to pick up the Cloud Dragon, deny the soul, but Karsa again. It's the Lunar Rush Moonfall. Everybody loves the moon, unless you're looking directly at it. This time, for some reason, it burns your eyes, and Knight continues to send them packing. RNG on the escape path. I'm not too sure about the moon analogy, but I know that RNG are in pain.
And this time, RNG do have a wave. It looks like they at least want to push in both mid and bot. Maybe still not sure if they're able to finish this one off. So at the very least, going to have 2 waves going to take these inhibitors. But I think they should be able to get it. They have a Jinx.
Forward they go. Inhibitor down. Karsa's joining up as well. Top Esports have showcased in the last 2 games where RNG must stand beneath their heel. You come back from MSI, let's tell you about what we did in the meantime. RNG, 3 members in front of the Nexus turret, the last Nexus turret that is hope. And RNG aren't going to be able to, or rather Top Esports, aren't going to be ending the game here. Bit ahead of myself thinking that they're just going to go for it, but Top Esports hold on to their virtues for another day.
I mean, they did get 1 Nexus turret, right? I feel like you were in the right frame of mind. Okay. Top Esports definitely hoping that they could end the game, even though they weren't able to, so Now we know top esports focus is going to shift towards that top side of the map. Now you do have such a monstrous gold lead, right? 10k gold, where you would assume you start looking for those plays to bait a Baron. QingTian still has TP as well, even if you did want to try and keep him in a side lane, but we've just seen how heavily favored these team fights are for TS, and just how much work QingTian and Karsa did in that last fight as well to just lock so many of those members down and give room for JackeyLove to be able to find a lot of kills and find the burst to take them down.
That's all he's been given this game, just room for his improv. 6-1 and 6. I know improv may be talking it down a little bit. I do feel like that's the best thing to relate to JackeyLove's gameplay. He always goes forward. He never says no. And sometimes he gets off the rails. He doesn't know where he is. Actually, improv lyric, that's a genius thing to analyze. I'm pretty on top of that one. I'm pretty happy with that one. Anyway, let's see what happens next. Farron's up. RNG on the bench here, it feels like. They're 11,000 gold down, 10,000 if I could do proper math. And Zhuo just going to be running into Gala. Does a lot of damage. Paranoia time. Top Esports want to put the nail in the coffin. Into the back line. Enemy Predator missile incoming. What a kill streak from Knight, who's already taken down Gala. He survives even with the GA to help get the other kill. Xiaohu in the middle of it and can't clean him up.
In the rematch of semifinals in spring, this time top esports are the ones who are able to come out on top. Just amazing performances across the board.
Lyric, no backdooring here. It was sweet, it was simple, it was beautiful to watch. RNG are going to stay on one win while top esports move forward their momentum in the middle of the 2021 summer split.
I mean, Karsa's Diana, extremely clean. Knight overall, I mean, this man is a monster. It's just so hard to think, right? With people like Doinby popping off, with Scout popping off, Knight doing this, I just really don't know who to say the best mid in LPL is. It's like every day you see one of these, you're gonna switch your, like, you're gonna change your mind, but yeah. Knight definitely having an excellent split so far. We get to see JackeyLove and Zhuo taking more of a backseat role where it's like, hey, you know, I'm sure JackeyLove's still, you know, having high damage numbers in all these games. He's popping off. We saw that he is still willing to go for those aggressive plays, but it's nice that this isn't necessarily like live or die by JackeyLove. Yep. And QingTian overall, I think did have a rough series, but in game 3, he showed back up. He heard people talking smack, and he had great time on Sett. Obviously did good in those 1v2s, but even in team fights later on.
Yeah, I mean, the 1v2s are always going to go down as the big play. And QingTian on your screen, I mean, people called him out to fill in for 369. We don't know what's happening with 369. He's still performing well. No matter what happens in the future, QingTian should be considered as a good top laner and someone who should stay within the realms of the LPL. Another top laner who's come from the LDL, who's just been a massive surprise. It's always fun to see. Lyric, top esports have done what, you know, a lot of people thought would have been impossible, beating the MSI champs. But the MSI champs don't look like MSI champs. It's always about that adjustment. You did a segment on it yourself talking about them coming back in, how different the meta is. RNG just still haven't fitted into the LPL, and it's week 4, so we have to start looking at the concerning issue that RNG are now 14th place, I believe. Yes, 14th place when we're getting towards the halfway point.
It feels like RNG maybe had like a deal with a higher being where, you know, they traded all future promise to win Spring and MSI, right? That's kind of what it looks like there. I mean, on the Rift, they still have a lot of map movements that are good. They still have like a single highlight plays coming from certain members. It just never comes together consistently. We've now seen up against TS and FPX, both series were winnable. Both series were back and forth, and like there was really no decisive stomp. Heck, the most stompy game of this series was the one that RNG did win in game 1. Sure, but it's just really strange. I feel like for RNG, this definitely looked better than having Cryin on uncomfortable champions, right? Having the Lissandra, having the Orianna, bringing out the LeBlanc, like Cryin at least looked more comfortable overall. And I think that made RNG, especially in the early game, not look as vulnerable as they have, where we've just been seeing Cryin lose out over and over and over again. So I still feel like there are like some decent takeaways for RNG despite it being a loss. And for top esports, I don't feel like we learned too much more about top esports. We just know that these players are absolute beasts. They're not exactly a team like IG, even though people sometimes like to compare them because they are still very mechanically excellent. But I do feel like top esports have a better idea of like playing the map, of like using side lanes, transferring pressure, getting deep vision, like concepts like these that are part of macro, are part of having good macro. Top esports are able to do that. Typically, they just do get overzealous and over push to get things in a lot of scenarios, but this was not one of them.
It wasn't. And I'm glad to say that for me, looking at top esports in this series at least, you see that development. I saw what I saw against LGD, right? That continuation of, I guess, through lane dominance, through individual skill, we're seeing them take over their opponents. Lyric, you remember, against LGD, bot lane 2v2s, Knight as well, clutching it out. We saw it on the Silas today. It was a great example of that. QingTian as well, having a decent end to the series. So I'm excited for top esports from this point onwards. I think RA losing to them gave them a bit of a kick in the heel, even after they dominated them in game 1. And if top esports play like this, then it's an exciting time ahead. We get to talk more about this team being a potential top team rather than a team that's currently sitting at 3-2 alongside the OMGs and the, JDGs.
I just want to know what top esports put in the coffee, right? Because, game 2, Knight has a 1v2. Game 3, QingTian has a 1v2. You think back to so many JackeyLove plays last year where, whether it's a 1v2 or some massive outplay in a team fight, like Karsa with so many big plays this game, it just... Again, the word me and Munchables always uses mojo. This team just has a lot of mojo, and it doesn't feel like it's necessarily about the players themselves. Something with this org and like these players being brought together just brings a whole lot of good vibes.
It does, and I'm glad those vibes continue with someone like QingTian in the top lane. Because I thought, okay, well, if 369's out, he may not have had the best spring season, but in the top lane right now, this dude, replacing 369, this guy is still bringing that same mojo, as he is MVP, by the way. I lost my train of thought. God, dude. What do you say? What do you say? I'd love to see the damage numbers. Unfortunately, we can't, but that 1v2 will... that has to be top 2, top 3 for the top 5
From what I remember from the damage graphs, I think he was second highest after JackeyLove, which is still pretty insane.
That is insane.
So, coming out with a good amount of damage. And this was a fight specifically that really impressed me, right? Because he is coming in on the flank, already being here, didn't even need a TP because he was making his way down, goes with the ultimate in. We see JackeyLove also pretty decently fine on the backline, does have the flash, but then QingTian just causing so much chaos here. Really nice face breaker coming in. His haymakers this game were just absolutely impeccable. And like you're saying, no matter the comparisons of him versus 369 or like your opinion on that arrangement for who's better for top esports, I think one thing that's been very clear about QingTian, this split overall, is even if he is rough around the edges because he's a new player in the LPL, he's still very much an LPL caliber player.
Yeah, no, he is. And again, it's when 369 came into the league, we wanted to give him the same benefit of the doubt. It feels like 369's starting story as well. But I've been told we have our last game MVP alongside Wendy, so we're going to hear his thoughts